At the ripe age of 35, I found myself entangled in a marriage with Emily, a woman of 30, for a solid 4 years. Our romantic saga had its humble beginnings in a local bar where Emily worked her magic as a bartender, a venue my friends and I frequented with regularity. From the very first glimpse of Emily, an undeniable charm exuded from her, setting her apart from her colleagues. Weeks rolled by, during which I stealthily patronized the bar, never mustering the courage to express my feelings to this enchanting woman. One fateful evening unfolded as Emily served a table adjacent to ours. An unfortunate circumstance emerged when a fellow patron began making uncomfortable advances, casting a shadow of embarrassment over Emily. In a spontaneous act of chivalry, I rose to her defense, demanding an apology from the audacious man. A collective effort formed as others noticed the altercation, leading to a collective rebuke of the offender. Bar security swiftly intervened, ushering the miscreant out, leaving Emily and her boss to express their gratitude with complimentary libations at our table. Our connection evolved from mere bar camaraderie to a genuine friendship, ultimately blossoming into a romantic relationship. Following a year of courtship, we took the plunge into matrimony. In the months preceding our nuptials, I sought to improve Emily's work situation, desiring to spare her from the undesirable environment of the bar. Driven by the discomfort I felt witnessing other men's inappropriate gazes, I orchestrated a job upgrade, securing her a position as a waitress in a more upscale establishment. Emily's educational background, limited to high school with a brief stint at a community college, never posed a hurdle in our relationship. As I pursued my master's degree and worked as an assistant lecturer at the university, I viewed Emily's street smarts, work ethic, and open-mindedness as the qualities that truly mattered. In my love for her, her academic qualifications became inconsequential, and I even covertly saved money for her future college education. Despite the initial euphoria of our marriage, a gnawing concern surfaced after 3 years when Emily failed to conceive. The first 2 years were blissful, with shared joys and an intimate connection, yet the absence of children started to weigh heavily on my mind. During our dating years, this matter didn't trouble me, but as the years rolled by, the inability to conceive became a source of deep concern, casting a shadow over our otherwise harmonious union. In our earnest discussions about the future, Emily and I meticulously deliberated on the number of offspring we desired, even delving into the realm of advanced planning with names at the forefront. The unanimous decision resonated in our commitment to welcoming 2 children into our lives, the gender composition being inconsequential, be it 2 boys, 2 girls, or a combination of both. The paramount concern rested in the temporal framework, envisioning the birth of our first child within the inaugural or second year of marriage, with the second cherub gracing our lives a few years subsequent to the first. It was an idyllic blueprint that filled me with anticipation, sketching a scenario where my firstborn would attain the age of 14 as I reached the milestone of 50, followed by the second progeny at the tender ages of either 10 or 8. The passage of 3 years marked an existential juncture, the absence of progeny becoming a palpable weight upon my psyche. A disconcerting realization set in, gradually eroding the once robust connection between Emily and me. Our shared moments dwindled, replaced by a palpable detachment, and the tenor of our conversations shifted. The prevalent topic of our envisioned familial bliss became a contentious issue, casting a shadow over the dwindling intimacy. Emily, increasingly disenchanted, voiced her discontent, lamenting my preoccupation with an unborn future at the expense of relishing the present. In the aftermath of our 3rd anniversary, the chasm between us became undeniable, prompting me to pledge a return to the harmonious union we once enjoyed. I assured Emily of a paradigm shift, vowing to release the stranglehold of anxiety over procreation. The prospect of missing out on the enriching journey of growing alongside Emily was too poignant to ignore. Her countenance brightened as she articulated a steadfast belief that divine providence governed the bestowal of children. As devout Christians, we anchored our faith in the belief that God, in His own time, would grace us with the gift of progeny. Persisting in my commitment to Emily, I harbored the contemplation of adoption if conceiving continued to elude her. Concurrently, as the 3rd year of our marital journey unfolded, Emily embarked on a collegiate pursuit, enrolling in a 4-year program. I assumed the role of her sponsor, utilizing the financial reserves I had diligently set aside. Witnessing her academic progress brought me immense joy, fulfilling her long-standing aspiration for higher education. The temporal tapestry of our marriage began to weave itself back to familiarity, albeit with a nuanced shift. Emily and I found ourselves distanced due to the demands of our individual pursuits. The relentless cadence of her late-night study sessions and my own professional commitments created a temporal chasm. I foresaw the inevitability of such busy phases in our lives and abstained from lamenting the resultant disparity. Instead, I endeavored to be a supportive husband, shouldering household responsibilities and alleviating her stress by preparing dinner, handling domestic chores, and allowing her to rest on weekends. My weekends metamorphosed into a blend of domestic chores, grocery shopping, culinary exploits, and moments of shared recreation. The evenings witnessed our escapades around the city, fostering a semblance of normalcy amid our bustling lives. Gradually, I ceased broaching the subject of children, steering our conversations away from the erstwhile preoccupation. Amid this unspoken shift, I discerned Emily's continued visits to her gynecologist, a weekly ritual that surpassed her previous frequency. While curiosity nagged at my thoughts, I refrained from probing, cognizant of the sensitivity surrounding her reproductive journey. An unspoken agreement manifested, recognizing her need to navigate this terrain at her own pace. Rather than questioning her motives, I admired her resilience in maintaining her connection with the gynecologist, even after our discourse on parenthood waned. This newfound understanding kindled a resurgence of intimacy in our marital bond. In the initial chapters of our union, the canvas of passion was adorned with regularity, but the thwarted attempts at conception ushered in a hiatus. However, with Emily's deepening commitment to her gynecologist, a recalibration occurred, and the frequency of our intimate moments resurged to at least once or twice a week. These rendezvous, predominantly scheduled around her post-appointment return, became a source of contentment for me, evoking the belief that her gynecologist perhaps offered guidance or she was conducting an experiment of sorts. I opted not to probe, positioning myself as a steadfast and available partner, respecting her autonomy in this delicate journey. Beyond my lingering musings on parenthood, this evolving intimacy became a testament to the enduring strength of our connection. As the intensity of our intimacy heightened, a palpable enhancement permeated our connection, and the overall quality of our relationship experienced a noticeable improvement. This harmonious state endured for several months, during which the frequency of our intimate moments surged. With each shared encounter, an unspoken hope silently burgeoned within me, nurturing the desire for the announcement of Emily's pregnancy. Though I refrained from articulating this longing to her, I harbored the silent expectation that one day, she would approach me with jubilant news. However, fate had other plans, and in hindsight, I am relieved that such a revelation never materialized. Little did I know that my fortuitous discovery would spare me the unwitting responsibility of raising another man's child. 2 weeks ago, an unforeseen revelation disrupted the tranquility of my blissful ignorance. That evening, after an exhaustive day at work, I found myself in our bedroom, grappling with sleep. Overwhelmed by fatigue, I succumbed to a deep slumber, oblivious to the events unfolding. The sound of Emily's car pulling into the driveway roused me from my sleep, leaving me wide awake but feigning continued repose. Unbeknownst to Emily, I overheard her conversation as she entered the room, expressing love and bidding farewell to an unidentified recipient. Perturbed by the unfamiliarity of her emotional exchange, I feigned awakening just as she retreated to the kitchen to prepare dinner. A calculated delay ensued, with approximately 35 minutes passing before I emerged from the bedroom, masquerading my genuine wakefulness. Aware of Emily's astuteness, I maintained this ruse to deflect any suspicion of eavesdropping on her earlier conversation. My intent was to wait until she succumbed to sleep, granting me the opportunity to clandestinely inspect her phone for clues about the mysterious caller. My sole concern rested on discerning whether her interaction was benign or indicative of potential infidelity. As Emily peacefully slumbered and the echoes of her snores filled the room, I seized the moment to scrutinize her phone. To my disbelief, the last number she had dialed belonged to her gynecologist. The ensuing investigation into her text messages and WhatsApp conversations uncovered the clandestine liaison with the very medical professional I had revered, shattering the illusion of our ostensibly harmonious union. Media person, and aside from LinkedIn, she was building a professional brand. The only social media app she had was WhatsApp. As I went through her WhatsApp, I noticed she chatted more with her gynecologist than she chatted with me. In fact, we barely chatted at all. Our WhatsApp conversation was filled with different grocery lists. We used it to list the items we needed at home so either of us could. In the aftermath of discovering Emily's betrayal, a turbulent whirlwind of emotions engulfed me, leaving me in a state of disbelief and anger. I meticulously combed through their entire chat history, tracing the intricate timeline of their clandestine relationship. To further confirm the depths of her deception, I retreated to the living room, revisiting the messages that chronicled the unraveling of our marital fabric. It was incomprehensible to fathom that Emily had been unfaithful for nearly 7 months, jeopardizing everything we had painstakingly built together. The ensuing night unfolded with me immersing myself in the narratives of countless individuals on the Reddit community who had weathered similar storms of infidelity. Seeking solace in the shared experiences of others, I found a modicum of reassurance in the collective wisdom of those who had traversed similar tumultuous paths. The following morning, as Emily innocently inquired about the cause of my swollen eyes, I fabricated a tale of an emotionally charged movie marathon, concealing the turmoil that simmered beneath the surface. She chuckled at my supposed cinematic catharsis, oblivious to the storm brewing within me. Despite my knowledge of her infidelity, I chose to maintain a facade, biding my time until I could bear witness to the betrayal with my own eyes. That evening, I departed from work earlier than usual, embarking on a covert mission to unveil the truth. Parking my vehicle inconspicuously 2 houses away from the upscale restaurant where she toiled, I observed her departure after concluding her shift. A discreet pursuit ensued as I trailed her to the hospital, where she had conveniently scheduled an appointment with her gynecologist. Seizing the opportunity, I concocted a ruse at the hospital's reception, asserting myself as Emily's concerned husband, ostensibly on a mission to return a forgotten phone left in the car. Amidst the chaos of discovering Emily's infidelity, a surge of emotions, ranging from anger to confusion, gripped me. I remained composed, standing at the entrance of the gynecologist's office, silently recording the damning evidence that laid bare the betrayal. The gynecologist's frozen reaction and Emily's desperate attempt to salvage the situation confirmed the illicit nature of their relationship. Without uttering a word, I exited the office, leaving behind a turbulent tableau of deceit. Emily, now in pursuit, half naked and desperate, chased me into the elevator. The air buzzed with her pleas as I descended to the ground floor, her voice echoing through the building, drawing the attention of curious onlookers emerging from their rooms and offices. Faking a smile with the secretary on my way out, I drove home in solemn contemplation. Upon reaching home, I delivered the ultimatum through text, instructing her not to bother returning. Swiftly changing the locks, I severed our physical connection, leaving me in isolation as Emily bombarded my phone with calls and messages. For 2 weeks, she has not set foot in our shared abode. The solitude has granted me the space to grapple with the internal turmoil, a tumult fueled by the revelation of her unfaithfulness. Despite posting this account, the burden of silence about her betrayal weighs heavily on me. 3 days ago, a phone call from Emily marked a tentative reconnection after weeks of silence. During our conversation, she wept, pleading for the opportunity to return home for a discussion. I acquiesced, allowing her into the space that once symbolized unity. Calmly expressing my feelings and disappointment, I listened as she knelt in remorse, attributing her actions to manipulation by the gynecologist. She implored for a second chance, vowing to sever ties with the medical professional and pledging fidelity moving forward. The complexity of emotions and the weight of the decision-making process persist, as I navigate the intricate path toward resolution and closure. Upon learning the shocking truth that Emily had sought the assistance of her gynecologist to conceive, a tumult of emotions surged within me. The revelation was accompanied by a profound sense of betrayal, prompting me to confront her about the secrecy surrounding this decision. In response, Emily confessed that the doctor had advised her to keep it from me, citing concerns about my male ego. A conflicting maelstrom of emotions ensued. A part of me yearned to believe her rationale, while another recognized the unlikelihood of her naivety in succumbing to such manipulation. The tears flowed once more, as the pain of the initial discovery resurfaced. In the final update, the revelation of Emily's transgressions unfolded according to plan. The divorce was formalized, marking the culmination of a meticulously orchestrated sequence of events. The execution of the agreed-upon plan began with a dinner at Emily's parents' house. Despite their initial happiness, an ominous undercurrent signaled that all was not well. Midway through the dinner, Emily tearfully confessed her infidelity to her astonished parents and siblings. The shock reverberated through the room, leaving them speechless and me with an unwavering composure, all while maintaining an unyielding facade. Her father's outburst served as a stark contrast to the tense silence that enveloped the room. The following day, We repeated the ritual at my parents' house, with the atmosphere charged with palpable tension. The scripted confession unfolded once more, punctuating the familial gatherings with discomfort. The awkwardness was exacerbated as we departed together, leaving both sets of parents bewildered by the unexpected unity in our departure. The orchestrated revelation had achieved its intended impact, unraveling the carefully concealed threads of Emily's duplicity in the presence of those closest to us. As the divorce papers were finalized, the chapter of our union concluded with the echoes of her public confessions lingering as a testament to the consequences of her actions. Following the revelation of Emily's infidelity, the scripted confession unfolded at both our parents' houses, each revealing a collective disbelief at the unexpected revelation. My parents, familiar with Emily's calm and reserved demeanor, were particularly taken aback, expressing their profound disappointment. Yet, the decision rested with me, and as we concluded these familial encounters, I felt a sense of satisfaction with the impact on her parents, their expressions and disappointment palpable. Her reaction was tumultuous, emotions flaring as she alternated between tears and yelling. In a moment of spiteful revelation, she audaciously claimed to have slept with her gynecologist as a favor, convinced of my supposed impotence. Undeterred, I confronted her with the irony of her fertility juxtaposed against the absence of conception, a retort that further fueled her anger. In a fit of rage, she threw objects, prompting my decision to firmly eject her from my house. A week later, our divorce was officially finalized. Seeking justice for her actions, I pursued the gynecologist who had participated in her infidelity. Submitting screenshots and videos to the hospital authorities, I exposed the scandal on social media, naming both the doctor and the hospital. The repercussions were swift. The hospital administration suspended him for misconduct during hospital hours. Emily's misguided attempt to find solace in his arms backfired, as his marriage and career crumbled.